Hey guys, it's Pika here, bringing to you another live guide / commentary video for The Other Side plus 15. These week's affixes are Prideful, Tyrannical, Raging, and Explosive. Alright, let's get right into it. Okay, this is a DOS, Raging, Tyrannical, Explosive, Prideful.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Alright, here we go into the first pull. This first pull is a little bit scary because of the giant skeleton guy, along with a lot of mini casters. This is something where you want to be able to group them up and try to spell reflect all the cultists at the same time if possible. I usually start in here by throwing my Ravager at range, then go into Avatar, then blow a lot of my defensive CDs. You don't really want to use Shield Wall here though, because you don't have one of the Shadow Core guys. So it's a little bit hard, and that cultist does come down a little bit late. So you do want to stop as many of the abilities as possible. Here we have a lot of little explosives though, so it's a little bit annoying. Usually on this pull though, I do commit Last Stand quite often, just because you do need to use something to survive it, but you don't want to have to use Shield Wall if you can help it, so you can have it on the next one. A guy there, I think he died to Dark Lotus. Yeah, he died to Dark Lotus there. This next pull here, usually want to spell reflect the first Shadow Core Bolt. But because I am pugging right now, it's a little bit different. I can't really call kicks because we're not in Discord together. So again, I want to throw my Ravager at range, go in with an Avatar, Thunderclap first, then I look at what my people are doing here. A lot of explosives, so we're going to try and help. Now here I'm going to commit Shield Wall. The reason why you want to commit Shield Wall on this pack rather than the last pack is almost every one of these guys here, they do magic damage, whether it's from disease. All these skeleton bone soldiers, they do a front, like a strike, a fervent strike ability. Not really a fervent strike ability, but rather like a big hit ability that will crush you with magic damage. Here, I'm constantly heroic throwing. I'm basically playing whack-a-mole. Spell reflect in range. You don't want to kick Death's Embrace, that's fine. Mages can usually spell seal it, so it's fine. But you do want to kite this pack very early. If you try to stay in this pack too long, even like for me on a 15, you're just going to get wrecked. And my path here, I am going to go directly down here. If it was a more organized group, I'd actually skip this spirit and do it after with the Pride ability. But because in Pugs, you know, it's a little bit scary to skip mobs like this without somebody pulling. So we're just going to pull it like this. Here, you don't really want to use the Urn until right before this guy casts Rage. Like, you want to let him get the first tick off, or else he'll just recast Rage right after again. So that was like, I'm not sure if we actually got that one, but, you know, because it's Tyrannical, it's completely fine. You can see me executing here because I just want to kill the buy. I'm not really using Reprisal perfectly here, but, you know, it's pretty low-key. So it's I'm not really having too much worry about it. So here you can pull this all together, usually, but because I had to pull that spirit first, I did not do that. You see, I just intervene him. This pack is also a little bit of magic damage, but it's, again, completely fine. You also don't want to tank it too close to that staircase, but the other spirit from the other side will come down. Alright, Pridefuls. What does Prot Warrior have for Pridefuls? Well, we don't have a lot of magic resistance, so Pridefuls usually crush Prot Warriors more so than other tanks. But we do have a couple of things. One is Spell Reflect. You can cast Spell Reflect, and you get a 20% DR to this pulsing AoE damage. So on a high key, you can typically get 2 Spell Reflects in if you use it right at the start of the pull, and you get the Spell Reflect also for the last portion of the Pride, which is the most damage. You also have Commit Rallying Cry. But you don't really want to use Rallying Cry too early, because if it falls off mid-Prideful, then your healer's going to have a big scare, and while they're taking massive damage. So it's not very good to use at the end. You kind of want to time your Rallying Cry, just so that... Oh my god, wait, hold on. This Pride's going to come. No, that's Pride, then the Rage Spirit. You want to time it so that your Rallying Cry falls off right as the Prideful dies, and not any second before. Because I'm using the Rallying Cry conduit right now, it doesn't matter too much. Like I have 13 seconds, so as long as you use it within the 13 seconds, if you're using the Rallying Pride conduit, or else use it for the last 10 seconds, it's fine, as long as it doesn't fall off before the Pride dies. I mean, but in the worst case scenario, someone's about to die and you have to rally and cry, what are you gonna do, right? So in this route, we're gonna go back. The reason why we do this route is so that we have our 40% Pride perfectly right before Hakar. If you pull any more than I just did, then you're gonna have a little bit of a bad Pride. You can pull that other spirit if you want and use the Pride Flow to kill it, but then you just have to bolster kill the last 4 mobs, and by bolster kill I mean just kill them all at the same time. Here, both the Hexer and the Priest have heals abilities that do need to be stopped, but the Priest can be stunned, whereas the Hexer could not. So you want to really focus your kicks to make sure you get on the Hexer, and worst comes to worst, you just fear the Priest. It will recast it, but it does buy you a little bit more time for your abilities to come back, your kicks to come back. Here you can Spell Reflect the Smite. You can also charge this guy so he doesn't run away. Whenever I'm pugging, I typically just hold for the heal ability, but when I'm doing in a group, especially if we're on Discord, I just call every kick on the Hexer and just assign one melee or somebody with a stun to the Priest. Here, it's a little bit scary. These Deathwalkers constantly put this ticking dot on you pretty rapidly, so you want to be able to reset however way you can, whether that means you are running away and waiting for it to reset, or you are kick that heal, or you are using Kyrian Pot, things like that. You also can interrupt their Blade Storm ability using either your I think you can fear them? Let me try. No, you cannot fear them. You can use your Shockwave ability, that's what we usually use anyways. Here, I don't want to use my Shockwave ability right here because I am going to try and save it for the Devoted. When I'm plugging keys, I'm really scared to rely on other people's stuns and other mechanics, so I typically try to use my utility for that, and everything survival-wise, I just trust other people. If not, I just do it on my own. Here you can see I'm getting ready to stop these guys. Stun. These guys can be feared, so if you have to fear them, you can, but usually they die pretty quick on Tyrannical, so it's not too much of a problem. You can see our timer right now, it's about 6 minutes. Because it's 6 minutes, you can't really lust on the first pull, even if you're doing like a pug normal. Like you get here maybe like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and then you have rest time on Hakar, especially on Tyrannical. You want to make sure that no matter what, you have lust on Hakar. Here is a really good LOS spot. I just wait here, I throw Ravager down, so make sure I pick them up as they run across. Then you hope that some Knife uses the urn. Someday using it, perfect. And whenever these mobs are all stunned, you just want to keep spamming Ravager. Or not Ravager, Revenge. Revenge, Thunderclap, Revenge as much as possible. Therefore, when they come out, you know you're going to have aggro. Here, that guy's casting. This guy's about to Blade Storm. I'm going to stun here. Again, I'm just saving for this Hexer heal. The Hexer must be kicked, whereas the Priest, it can be stunned. Always remember that. Hexer is #1 priority for the heal kick. Here, if you can, you do want to drag it closer towards the exit door so you have a little bit more uptime on the Pride once it spawns. Here, I'm just playing Whack-A-Mole. Oh, got a little bit low there. I'm not really using my defensive too well here, but it's only a 15. I don't have to worry too much. But on a high key, usually I have to commit multiple CDs whenever the bleed guys on there, those Deathwalkers. Be really careful of that as a Prot Warrior. Throw my spear here just to get some little bit of rage. Like, I don't really have to worry about saving my cooldowns for Hakar, because as Prot Warrior, you get them so fast back every time you're playing AM. Demo Shout here. I don't really need it, but like just in case, I'm gonna rally here, because I know this guy is going to die within the next few seconds. Alright, so people always ask me here, how do you kill Hakar? Because Hakar is like usually a wall for a lot of teams. How we kill it actually when we're doing high keys is actually, you want to wait until about 50% to lust. And the reason why you want to do that is that the first 50% of the boss is usually carried by Pride and like 1 minute CDs. But the rest of the fight, it gets harder as it progressively goes. This is because every 20% of the boss health, one of these little Hakar ads are going to spawn. That means that by the end of the fight, if you blow everything at the start, including Lust, Pride, every major CD you have, then you're going to get the boss to about 50%. And then once it's 50%, you're going to have nothing, and then these ads are going to slowly overwhelm you. So that's why we typically like to save any big cooldowns, so things like CA, any major, maybe even 2 minutes, we save it for the 50% mark, so that the last 50% is very smooth. You know, that way we can have Pride just kind of carry the beginning. It's a little bit of a slow start, but we'll have a very strong ending, and we won't get overrun with ads, and it won't be too bad. The other thing is, oh my god, okay, this guy's, do not run your corrupted blood onto your tank. But, a couple things you want to note for this fight, any of those little things that are falling on the ground there, you don't want to step into, because every time you get hit by one of those, you get a little bit of a damage reduction. And also, every time he casts Piercing Barb, you want to hit Spell Reflect, and you take no damage. The other thing you need to know about this fight is that the Blood Barrier here is based off of how much damage it does. So if more ads are alive, plus everybody like doesn't use a DR or anything, the shield is going to be massive, right? So if you guys are using DRs whenever the Blood Barrier is going to happen, or immunities, like we tend to save immunities for the last little bit of the fight, on the last Blood Barrier or so, then the boss will be able to have a small shield at the end and you'll be able to push through it. You just want to stun here, Spell Reflect that last one. The other thing you can do is you can also Shattering Throw any of the blood shields, but just be careful again. Don't stand in the circles on the floor or you'll get the damage reduction debuff. This is the route I'm using right now, is the one I typically use for pugging. This one is just like a straight W route, you don't have to worry too much. When you have rogue, you can do like a little bit of cheesy stuff, a little bit of fun stuff here and there. But typically, you know, just to play it safe, I don't really do too many fancy things when I'm pugging. Whenever we're doing serious push keys, then we're doing things like, you know, Shroud skipping the entire Hakar and only doing like the last 4 mobs, or definitely like just shrouding the entire Mechagon area. The Mechagon area is like really slow. You typically fight like 1 or 2 lubricators at a time, or the big drill guys, so it's not really worth it to do anything too insane there. I noticed that the spirit is up there. The other thing you can do is you can skip like 2 lubricators, the very 2 inefficient ones, near the end of the Mechagon area, and you just pull the spirit instead so you can get Pride before the gnomes. But, you know, again, this is a pug, so you don't have to worry too much. There's a lot of magic and bleed damage in this dungeon, so you gotta be really careful, because even though like I find this is one of the most fun dungeons for Prot Warrior, especially the Ardenweld area, it's actually pretty scary for us. I like to put one of these robots here along with this guy because I don't want to be fighting 4 later at the same time. So the thing you can do is you can Spell Reflect its discharge, I Spell Reflect it, and they just hide behind this pole. A lot of people don't use this pole here, but the pole is great for melee, so they don't have to run so far in order to get through this. Just killing as many souls as I can. They're gonna intervene, and then here I want to make sure I don't use any cooldowns here, just because I want it all for this big pull here. Here's where you pull the dog, plus I pull the 3 clients. So something you can do is you can align the client's abilities by shockwaving them, and then you know these 2 here are both gonna, they're all casting the discharge at me at the same time. There was an explosive behind me, which is why we almost died there. Here I'm gonna shield wall because all 3 are gonna get off. Kill that explosive. Just kick as much as you can here. Help your tank. Intervene there. You don't want to LOS these spinny guys, because if you try to do that as the tank, it's just gonna cast this ability on another player, which is super scary. They'll just end up dying if they don't have a major CD. Here I like to pull the lubricator with this guy. It's gonna be a bad LOS, but we gotta run back. Anybody who's near there is probably gonna die because those guys right there are gonna come in. Here I'm just tanking this at the edge. So Lubricator, if you're on Discord, you can typically kick every single thing, but like what I like to say for, again, is the heal. The heal is really bad. The other thing you can do is you can stun the heal, so it's not like too bad. See, like right there, I stunned it instead. I just did it just to show it. The Lubricate's going off. It's raging right now, so it's a little bit spooky, but you know, I just killed that with an auto attack, it's fine. That's not too bad. All you want to do is hold the drill either on this corner area or that corner, so you never have issue with LOSing the Haywire. Here I'm Engineer, so I'll turn this off. Again, you can just Shroud these 2. These are the most 2 inefficient mobs there are. If you do 1 Lubricator at a time, even when you do 2, it's not like super efficient, especially if like heals are getting off. But because this is a pug again, I'm not trying to do anything too fancy, even though we have a rogue. Here you hope that somebody's gonna kick the heal, so I usually let somebody kick that, and then I'll kick the second one. You don't really want to kick the first one, because then I have to rely on somebody else to kick the other one, which is really bad. This is raging right here. This is spooky. I'm gonna stun if it casts again. I'm gonna, oh, no, he made it. So I can save my stun for our friendly neighborhood slimes. So here, if you can, you want to line up your whole group. So it's just first you want to use kicks. The reason why you want to use individual kicks first is that then they can go on recharge while there are, while you're using all your other abilities. You can shockwave, you can fear, you can do a lot of different things. But most importantly is you try not to overlap when you're playing with a coordinated group, because overlap is what kills you. Here you want to try and focus the low ones down so raging doesn't kill you. We do have a hunter and 2 druids, so there's really nothing that should ever be raging. But you know, it happens, it happens. Your pride is gonna spawn. Just don't be afraid to ever use execute. I know a lot of warriors don't want to use execute in their rotation because one, it doesn't have really any defensive value, but if you're not dying, you might as well be using your rage to kill the mob faster. If you kill it faster, it doesn't really hurt you. Like, it won't kill you long term, right? So kill it faster is the DPS mentality. Here I'm going to just spell reflect, just, you know, to help the healer a little bit so they can pump a little bit more. But I don't want to really blow my CDs this late into the fight because I do kind of want to use them on the boss. The boss is going to be super scary, especially the bleed section of this boss. So here you can just get over easily either through Door of Shadows or you can just leap over. Pretty chill. Some guy got knocked off, so we're gonna lose a lot of pride buff here, which is really bad. Did he release too? Because if he released, we are gonna be giga screwed. Oh, he released Monka. Alright, it's gonna be a little bit of a crazy fight. So this boss is pretty bad just because we are, as a prot warrior, your biggest weakness is going to be bleed or magic damage, which this fight is basically all of it. Whether it's the first guy who is all magic damage from his pulsing ability whenever the crystal shard goes into the boss and he does the pulsing ability, or you're talking about Maleficent where she is doing the bleed constantly on you. You can prevent a bleed stack whenever by using Spell Reflect on cooldown. You prevent only one though, so it's still going to truck you. And here, the biggest tip I can give is don't let your DPS, or try not to get your DPS to blow all their CDs on Millhouse here. Millhouse is your break time. It's where you can get all your CDs come back, and you don't want it to go too fast, and you also don't want Millhouse to die before Maleficent, because if you let Millhouse die before Maleficent, he is going to not cast the stun ability in the second phase, which then helps, you know, you reduce the amount of bleed stacks you're taking, and also helps it stun whenever it's using the aerial chicken ability at the end of its phase. You want to spell reflect the very first one too, so you can spell reflect twice during that phase. So here I'll get one more spell reflect off. Right here, it's gonna cast one more. You want to try to maintain shield block as much as possible. No, I didn't get it because it got stopped by that last thing. But it's completely fine. Whenever this boss is about to phase, you do want to hit your defenses, whether that is using Rally. I can use the Rally on the other one because that one's not as scary. That one's a little bit more scary. This here, I Spell Reflect, and I'm only going to get 6 stacks instead of 7. The other tip you can do here is you can actually destroy, click these bombs off right when they spawn. See, I spam here, I click it, and I'm the one who stopped it right there. Okay, I don't know where that boom is going. So here I'm going to be spamming the mini boss here, or the boss rather, and make sure you want to keep shield block up whenever it's applying the dots to you. I spam it, boom, got that one as well. Oh, I wasn't paying attention to that one. That's fine. It's phasing, so it's completely fine. I'm gonna rally here. So you don't want your DPS to die. You want to help them whenever you can. Millhouse is gonna die here, and it's because I know Millhouse is gonna die. I'm actually gonna save my cooldowns because I want to be able to burn Maleficent down at the end of the next phase, because you'll no longer be getting stuns if Millhouse dies. Reflect, easy. Reflect does a nice 25k, so you know it's worth it if you can get it. I always try to late kick whenever I'm pugging, just so that, oh my god, kill this. Okay, good. I try to late kick so that if one of the other DPS decide to kick, you know, once in a while, it'll be all good. Here, I'm gonna blow out my cooldowns, throw my spear down. Because I have spear, I have a lot of extra rage, so I can just use ignore pain as much as I can. Here I'm gonna use Spell Reflect. And here's where you start using your CDs. Whenever you don't have anything, or you feel like it's really rough, you want to be using your CDs. I'm not really gonna hit hard here because it's only a 15. But on hierarchies, again, you want to use it as much. Like, try to rotate your CDs. Don't try to ever put Last Stand, Shield Wall, Demo Shot, everything at the same time. You want to spread it out a bit. You also don't want to use a major CD if you don't have to on any of the bleed applications that are going to get stunned by the AoE. That's because you're only going to get like maybe 5 bleed stacks instead of 7. So you want to use it whenever you get 7 bleed stacks, ideally. And now we're going to go next Rage. Here you really gotta hold a major CD here for this raid, especially on fortified weeks. You want to on Tyrannical, it's not really a big deal. Like, you'll kill this stuff regardless. But on fortified weeks, at the end of that boss, you really don't want your DPS sending major cooldowns. They want something to kill this Enraged Spirit. If they don't, you're gonna die. Here I just send everything because everything will come back in time. It'll be fine. Here I'm also gonna look at the rages that are going near my range. If that one's going near my range, I want to stun it so that they don't actually get hit. If you stun it or you fear the mass, they actually disappear, so it's no problem. Ooh, that was scary. They pushed into raging during its rage. Here you want your DPS to kick both triangle and circle so you can bring it into the urn. This is a heavy magic damage pull, so you do want to hope that you have shield wall here if you can help it. I want to kick the Shadow Core guy because of anybody that's going to get hit by this urn. I want the Shadow Core guy to get hit because we do want to burst him. Here, oh, the frontal is happening, but it's fine. I'm going to kill that explosive. No, it's perfectly fine. Here, I'm just spamming Revenge. I want to have as much threat coming out of this urn as possible so that if like, let's say a DPS was blasting, I'll have no problem. I'm going to reflect the Shadow Core. Then I'm going to shield wall because I'm scared. I'm going to throw our spear to root them over there. That thing is going to hit me. Perfect. So again, on Fortified, these pulls are a little bit scarier, but on Tyrannical, there's like not, like mobs just melt, so it really doesn't matter. Here is, the biggest killer of time. Everybody always dies to this trap area. It's so fun. Being patient is a virtue here. Oh, minion died. You gotta res him. It's fine. We're gonna wait here. Oh, that guy almost died. Shout out to my boy Rifey. He always procs cheat in this area. It's great. Alright, Ardenwell, our bread and butter. Ideally, if you're doing a push key, you want to spend as much time in Ardenwell as possible. You want to pull like the entire Ardenwell if you can. Not in one pull, obviously, but as much as you can. Here I'm pulling small because, it is a pug. I don't know how good they are at killing explosives. But, here's where I help out as much as possible. You're not really going to take much damage to Prot Warrior. As long as you have shield block up, you're going to take, like, negative damage. So you want to focus on explosives if you can. And then keep your shield wall up as much as possible. Here I'm going to save my stun, anything I can, for when they're low health. I do see Vortex drop, so now I'm just going to play Whack-A-Mole. I killed 3 out of 4 explosives there. And that just helps your DPS do major damage whenever it's things like that. As a tank, you do want to kill as many explosives as possible. It's not like solely your only job. Oh my god, this is fun. It's not your job specifically to kill explosives, but you want to be able to let your DPS use basically just DPS during their cooldowns. If they're they're having to kill every explosive during their cooldown cycle, like mobs will just take longer to kill, and it's a nightmare. So if you're a tank, you're a healer, and there's not a lot of damage going out, just kill them. But they are everyone's responsibility. My firm belief on explosives is that everybody should do them. It doesn't matter if your class is bad. Blizzard changed it so that the explosives do die in one hit. So you don't have to be like, oh, I'm this class or I'm X class and I'm not good at killing explosives. Everybody can kill explosives. It's mainly that if it's heavy tank damage that's coming in and like it's a start of pull where the tank has to set up, or if the healer is like healing so much during that part of the pull that they can't focus on explosive, DPS, it doesn't matter if you're doing your biggest cooldown, you need to kill explosives. Because in the end of the day, if you wipe the explosive, it is a DPS loss, and that's how you rip your key. But when your DPS are using major CDs as a tank and healer, if the damage is not that crazy going out on you, you do want to help kill explosives. It is super important that everybody tries to kill it because, again, everyone If any explosives get off, it can potentially cause a wipe. So that is the biggest DPS loss. And the lesson that I hope everybody learns, that explosives is everyone's responsibility, regardless of what you're doing. It is tank, it is healer, it is DPS. In an ideal world, you know, in DPS CDs, you don't want DPS doing it, but outside of their major CDs, you know, be killing explosives. Help your other teammates out. It is gonna, in the end of the day, it's a DPS loss for everybody. So nobody can, you know, be like, oh, it's a huge DPS loss for me, you know, and like the rogue should do it, the mage should do it, the warrior should do it, you know, everyone do it. Okay, that was a little bit bad because he did it a little bit early. But the good thing about the urn is that they don't do explosive. Here I'm gonna AoE taunt at the end of this because I was worried that those guys weren't stacked up. I do see the binding shot and the vortex, so I don't have to worry too much about getting everybody in. I'm gonna just stun or like use my spear, and then get a stun and walk away. Here I'm not using like the most out of my reprisal, but it's like a low key again. You don't have to worry too much. Right here I want to make sure that I am at 90.5% before going down this hill, or else I won't have enough percent. And that's just making sure I pull all these birds. This hatch thing here is the most dangerous. You need to just make sure that whenever this frightened cry is happening, it is stunned. The rogue here did a good job, it stunned it, or else I would have saved my shockwave or my fear in order to stop that. Here, I'm just gonna pull more. It's not always great to pull out of things, because right there I think I pulled out of his wild spirits. But you know, what you gonna do? I taunt that. We're just gonna start pulling this down here. I don't really want to be tanking it on raging. Like, I mean, again, like these guys aren't hitting me too hard because I am a proud warrior. But whenever they're raging, low health, that's your cue to kite, basically, especially in the hierarchy. Okay, I'm 96% here, so now I'm good. This area here is gonna be like 4% basically. These 5 mobs. I think it's slightly less than 4%. Yeah, it's like slightly less than 4%, 3.65%. But, you know, with this percentage, I'm good. Killing explosive again. Here, you don't want to move too much. Like, whenever you can, as Pro Warrior, you want to not move the mobs. Just increases the damage of everybody. Even if, like, you're like, oh, okay, I'm moving towards the end target. Like, you don't really want to do that because things like Flame Strike, Flame Patch do less damage if the mobs are moving. Like, you might pull out a Hunter's Volley. You just want to keep it still as much as possible. That's really dangerous. The guys almost pulled this stuff down here. There's like 3 invis mobs like right around here, and you don't want to pull them. At least like I don't want to pull them right now for this percent, because we're already good at 100. Also with Prideful, like moving Prideful is super sus. Like if you're trying to do that, you really want to just keep everything in place. It not only helps your healer, it helps your DPS, kill it faster. Also DPS, if you're ever standing out, oh, this guy is like, he's gonna pull those mobs, man. No, don't move backwards, don't move backwards. Alright, I'm gonna pull this down because I don't want the guy to move back anymore. But like, yeah, as a DPS, you kind of want to stand in for Pride so that any AoE abilities, whether it's like Chain Heal, Fluorescence, things like that, your healer can heal you to heal everybody at the same time. As Pro Warrior, this fight is very easy. You just Spell Reflect whenever the bomb is up. Here I see Minion Hunter has the Arcane Lightning. You want the Arcane Lightning never to jump to the same person twice, and you never want it on somebody who just got a bomb. The reason why is that if they recently got a bomb and they went up, they get this arcane, increase arcane damage taken. So you never want to pass this Arcane Lightning back to the same person that's gone up for a bomb, because they'll just end up dying. Here I Spell Reflect, so I don't have to go up for the bomb. Even though this guy did just use Cloak of Shadows, he's still gonna receive the 20% increased arcane damage or whatever it is debuff. Alright, that was bad. He gave it back to me. But yeah, you don't want to use your immunity either, because you still get the increased damage taken debuff. I'm gonna give this to Resto Druid, but that's like really bad because he's about to take the bomb too. So I'm gonna rally here for him. And this guy should give it to this Boomkin right now, but because this Hunter and this Rogue both have had a bomb before, or had the bomb debuff. So the only person that can take it from this Hunter now is me, technically, or this Boomkin, but I'm pretty sure the Boomkin's not gonna take it. I'm gonna kill that explosive, so now I know the only person in my group here who hasn't taken a bomb is the Boomkin, so I'm gonna give it to the Boomkin. And he also has like defensive CDs to take it. So he now should be able to give it to the Hunter. The Hunter's debuff for the arcane damage should be gone, but he just got a bomb again. You know, it was only a little bit scary because the rogue used cloak, which meant he took the bomb debuff. And if you take the bomb debuff, you get the 20% increased damage taken. So everybody there was like not a good target for the arc lightning to jump to. Only I was free and the boomkin. Here, just go back. And yeah, we're basically almost done this place. We're about to like two-chest it at this point, I think. I'm not really exactly sure with the tyrannical timings, but I don't think it should be more than like a 4-minute fight. Here, everybody is calling. The boomkin called back right. The rogue called front left, and the hunter called back left. So we're gonna get front right here with our healer. This is a super easy fight for Prot Warrior. It's probably one of our best fights for Prot Warrior, to be honest. Compared to other tanks. And that's because we can spell reflect the Soul Crusher ability, and that's not the master of the dance. You don't really want to spell reflect the dance unless you're a melee DPS warrior, because you rather spell reflect the Soul Crusher. And how the Soul Crusher works is that every time the boss hits 100% energy, it's gonna cast Soul Crusher. So I have quite a few tips for you guys for this boss. Here we're gonna use everything on pull, because I use everything on pull. Any 1 minute will back up for the intermission phase. So he's about to cast Soul Crusher, he hit 100 energy. Here, you know, see, no Soul Crusher ability. The next one, I'm going to try and DR the Soul Crusher ability. The more you DR the Soul Crusher, the less the dot ticks on you per second after you get hit by it. So here I'm gonna save Demo Shell for it. I can also use Shield Wall, like lots of different things. I'm going to stay away from Master Death here. After if I stay out here, he's going to cast the Cosmic Artifice next. So here I'm going to use Demo Shout. And you can see that's only doing 1,142 damage. See, I look at the energy here. The energy is going to hit max soon. And now I'm going to use Reflect. Reflect at the next ability. My next tip for this boss, hold on, explosive, is that after he does his dance ability, don't run in right away. Because if he's about to go into intermission right after this, if you run right back in, he'll actually cast the Soul Crusher on you. But if you wait, he'll actually cause Cosmic Artifice instead, and he won't do the debuff onto you. Like, that's a big, I mean, it's not a mistake per se, but it's an easy way for you to not get the dot. Here I'm going to throw Ravager a little bit early. I'm going to cast Demo Shot because I'm running Booming Voice, so the boss does take more damage, so that's why I waited to cast my Spear. And now I'm just using Revenge and Shield Slam as much as possible, because that's the best 2 single target abilities we have outside of Execute range. I'm going to try to charge here to get a little bit of rage. Now I'm going to hit Execute, and we should be fine. Even though I think the Druid was a little bit late. The other thing you can do here is you can go back to the platform early. If you go back early, you actually get the 20% haste buff, like right away. But, you know, I was late, so it's fine. Let's see if everybody killed it. If everybody kills it, the boss should be in Execute range. Yep, everybody killed it. So here I'm spamming Execute. Avatar just came back. He's about to cast Soul Crusher. You can see energy, 100%, Reflect. The next one, I can cast either Demo Shout or Shield Wall. I'm just going to cast like whatever, the boss is going to die soon. Oh, that's the get out of melee one. That's the go right. See, if I stand back right in here, he's actually going to cast Soul Crusher right away. And that's what I was saying. If you stay out, he won't cast Soul Crusher, but like, you know, I don't care. Because the boss is almost dead, it's fine. Just for reference here, you saw the Soul Crusher doing 1,142. If instead I use, okay, I actually parried there. But if I use Shield Wall there instead, it actually does less damage. Because it's even bigger DR. The bigger DR you use, and this goes for all tanks, the less Soul Crusher does. And yeah, that's a very simple thing. I Spell Reflect again here. I'm just going to use the rest of it of my CDs. And yeah, guys, DOS in a nutshell on Tyrannical. Very simple key if you execute it correctly. It's even better if your DPS kick and you can call kicks. But yeah, very simple and great. Oh, this guy got IQD. Good job. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.